Now, many of you know that Democrats today are easily offended. They demand that the rest of America bow down at the altar of political correctness, the rules of which only they determine. Now, last year, they feigned horror when Trump and his supporters blasted left-wing activists who were harassing conservatives. One word in particular triggered them.
Oh, you're not going to use the mob word here. Let me move past the M word.
Republicans are trying to paint Democrats as an angry mob.
To call people mobs because they are exercising their constitutional right is just beyond the pale.
Beyond the pale? Was this beyond the pale, Don?
A shocking scene today on Capitol Hill, one that some Democrats say resembled a mob.
Quite honestly, it looked like a mob scene.
Our Republican colleagues who, frankly, acted like a mob.
The M word. You see, anything goes when describing conservatives. The word mob is the least objectionable of the slander. Rush referred to it at the end of Hannity's show that the left routinely uses with impunity against Republicans. White supremacists, xenophobes, misogynists, etc., etc., etc. No evidence needed. Now, the moment I heard them caterwauling about Trump's use of the word lynching to describe the ongoing impeachment star chamber, I knew the Democrats would once again get caught with egg on their faces. Biden, remember, dutifully fell in line with the language police, saying Trump was despicable and abhorrent for using the word. But then this surfaced.
Even if the president should be impeached, history is going to question whether or not this was just a partisan lynching.
Oops. Well, Democrats have lost all sense of perspective and apparently even their own memory as they try to out-medal one another in the hate Trump Olympics. They have to oppose everything Trump is for and everything he does, even if that means contradicting their own views on tone and key points, key substance. Now, liberals clutch their pearls when conservatives do something, and yet they make endless excuses for Democrats when they do the exact same thing. Now, what better example than the blackface controversy? Woke liberals would and do condemn as racist anyone who once wore an Indian headdress, let alone a costume with blackface. But now we know that they really don't care about these cultural offenses since two men are still in office. Democrats could not risk the political fallout in Virginia coming up on an election year, try to ditch Ralph Northam. And heck, Obama even endorsed his good friend Justin Trudeau. Yet there are other far more damaging ways in which the Democrats' pretzel-like opposition to Trump has manifested itself. Liberals started the free speech movement, remember, in California 50 years ago? Anti-war demonstrations on college campuses, they captivated the nation. It was about more speech, not less. Well, I'm actually not happy to report that today the left coast is probably the most inhospitable place for free and unfettered speech in the country. And now university speech codes are stifling open and rigorous debate on most campuses. Meanwhile, only a handful of real liberals speak out in defense of ideological diversity there. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg appeared on Capitol Hill yesterday, and he was mugged by the anti-free speech mob.
So you won't take down lies, or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
In a democracy, I believe that people should be able to see for themselves what politicians that they may or may not vote for
so
are
you
saying
won't take them down.
I'd wager that her truth is probably different from your truth. But the bottom line is she wants to ban the stuff she disagrees with, ultimately. Very illiberal. And what about the presumption of innocence? Now, it's a key pillar of our legal system, right? So it's a little jarring when a party that gets support from groups like the ACLU forgets about innocent until proven guilty, especially when there's a juicy political or judicial opponent to be smeared, which is exactly, of course, what happened when Democrats, without evidence, tarred Brett Kavanaugh as a sex abuser and even a gang rapist. And now the left is trying to pull the same routine on Trump by drastically lowering the bar for high crimes and misdemeanors to impeach him. So what's Trump's high crime? No, a quid pro quo that never happened? It's not in the transcript of the Zelensky call. We know it. But the Democrats have seized on the flip, boneheaded comment by Trump's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, as key evidence. They're going to put that, apparently, in an article of impeachment. And the party that once believed in openness and transparency, well, that's now totally fine with keeping key witnesses behind closed doors. That way, they control the narrative via selective leaks to their ideological paramours in the press.
We have to impeach this president.
I support impeachment.
I don't really think this impeachment process is going to take very long.
I want to push him out of the White House.
To preserve our Constitution, our democracy, our basic integrity, he should be impeached.
But the senators who are sitting senators, they're already saying removal. They haven't even seen the evidence put on in the Senate. You see my point? Presumption of innocence, open and fair process. And, of course, that's all very different from the impeachment standard than the one the same Democrats held back when Clinton faced Hill Republicans.
Republicans in the House are paralyzed with hatred of President Clinton.
They are telling us that our votes don't count and that the election must be set aside.
The American people don't think that they have made a mistake by electing Bill Clinton. And we in Congress had better be very careful before we upset their decision.
But that was then, and this is now. The party that once claimed to be the champion of blue-collar workers now offers them nothing except socialism. And in the Trump era of 3.5% unemployment and rising wages, that's not going to fly. The party that once thought we should renegotiate NAFTA, remember Obama's promise to do that? They won't pass the USMCA only because it means a victory for Trump. The party that was once anti-war rails against Trump's bringing our troops home from deployments that were supposed to last for months, not for years. The Democrats are just only too happy to forsake formerly core issues and beliefs if they believe it will bring down Donald Trump. But their mask is finally slipping. And the masquerade officially ends November 2020. And that's The Angle.